Welcome back, everyone, to Rabbit on the Rails. I hope you had a good week. When we left off, I had just gotten the call saying I was marked up, right in the middle of packing to move. That one phone call hit me with a flood of emotions all at once. I was nervous. Was I really ready? Excited. Marking up came with a pay raise. Scared. This job has its dangers if you're not careful. And worried. What if I didn't make it? And I had moved my family away from everything and everyone we knew for nothing. All that hit me in a matter of seconds after that call. Something about moving. It always seems to rain at some point during the move. And it did that morning, right as we pulled into the drive of our new home. We got started unloading the truck and finished rather quickly with the help of our friends and family. Then we began to unpack. As the hours ticked by and my 24 hours off neared the end, I started my routine of laying down for a nap before work. During my training as a conductor, I heard story after story of conductors falling asleep while the engineers ran, and I didn't want to be another story, especially being the new guy. So I made it a point, whenever I got about 5 times out, I would go lay down to make sure I was rested for my call to work. Here's a side note. With the railroad, most of us work on call. There are very few jobs that have a scheduled start time, and they are mostly held by employees with more seniority. We have a board with a train list and a suggested call time. That doesn't always mean the train is going to get called at that time. It can move forward or backwards by hours, so we have to be prepared. Also, when we get called for work, we get a 2-hour call, meaning we've got 2 hours to be at work after we're called. Sounds fun, right? With our railroad, as well as most other railroads and transportation, you start out as a conductor, brakeman, and switchman, and then move to engineer if you choose. The conductor is responsible for the train itself, inspecting the cars, checking the placement of the cars, and making sure we have the proper paperwork for the job. The engineer is responsible for the locomotives and operating the train from location to location. So I'll repeat it for the parents out there. Every trained person you see is not a conductor, and contrary to all the cartoons, the engineer operates the train. I can't say that I remember much from my first trip, but I do remember my emotions. Getting that first phone call, packing my bags, and the drive to work. Like I said earlier, we get a 2-hour call, and I lived about 55 minutes away from work. I already had most of my overnight bags packed, and all I really had to get ready was a lunch. The drive seemed to pass quickly, probably because my mind was going through everything I learned. Trying to remember the lingo to use when talking on the handheld radio. Trying to remember all the rules, since the managers were testing new hires hard back then to make sure we knew our stuff. Trying to remember the route, because we had 2 routes we would travel down depending on the direction each particular train traveled. One route was more difficult than the other. You had to do more talking to the dispatcher. We had to take down track warrants verbally. The track warrants would give us authority and protection on a section of track so that no one else would be traveling on it while we were on it. Taking track warrants seemed difficult as a new hire because you had to take down the information from the dispatcher and then repeat it back verbatim. If you messed up too much, the dispatcher would make you repeat it again and would get frustrated if you couldn't get it right. Looking back, I can understand because it wasn't really that hard. I think it was just the nervousness of messing up over the radio and everyone hearing you mess up too, because railroaders can be a harsh bunch. I made it through my first trip, got the van ride to the hotel, got to my room and unpacked my bags and called my wife. I was excited. My first trip was behind me. I made it. All those months of training and hard work had paid off. Some people have careers they choose, and some people randomly come across a career, one that is worth holding on to, that has good benefits and solid pay. I had seen trains as a kid, but the thought never crossed my mind that was a job someone had. That is until back when I was selling vehicles and that customer came in looking to buy a car. I was there for a reason, he was there for a reason, and I'm glad he told me about the railroad. Thanks for listening and stay safe. Talk to y'all next week on Rabbit on the Rails.